conversation. Anytime MSIs become a part of the conversation, balance, range of motion, and strength become a topic of conversation. So I'm going to pop up my PowerPoint now. In theory, I'm going to. I think I just do 1, 2, 3 clicks. There it is. Basically, I want to see, as this goes, workplace wellness change into something where the program that gets implemented, and this again speaks to Milt and I when we're offline chatting with each other, we actually want to change lives. And that's something where taking somebody that is completely never done exercise, we can walk them right through to sprinting a 40-yard dash in the time of their life, you know, that high performance stuff. Anything and everything from start to finish and in between is what we're looking to get people to understand the health journey is. And if it just means all you do is walk and stretch, that is perfect. Improve eating just a little bit, talk to registered dietitians. The reason I love the workplace and communicating here is most places have benefits. And those benefits usually include being able to sit down with a registered dietitian, going and engaging a physiotherapist to say, you know what, my back has hurt for the last 25 years of my life. What should I do? And start to make those improvements to health. So the way to engage or to start making a program is very simple. There is 5 phases that I like to encourage people to do. So if you're an HR person, or if you are tasked with creating a wellness program in your workplace, look to these 5 areas and move through them systematically. First, the assessment. Ask yourself what you need from your employees and how does their health play into that. So very simply, if you are somebody that is in control of a large corporation, you're going to have drivers, you're going to have office staff, you're going to have janitorial teams, you're going to have this whole range of people with different health needs. One plan typically won't get everybody engaged. You'll also have youth, and as we saw in those stats and facts at the start of this, with the average age of drivers at 55, you're not going to have a one size fits all. So it's up to the HR to kind of bring together the right people to discuss creating a plan that fits everyone. Second, identify within your organization where you're strong in the wellness and where you lack. This is anything in life. When you're like, I want to change something or I want to improve, you identify where you're strong and where you're lack. And once you've done that, you move forward and you start attacking where you need to make sure that you build a strong program. Typically, I find first steps is in the communication part, and we'll get to that later in this conversation. But simply having the program is one step. The next step is actually getting people to jump on board. So the third thing is creating the plan. So now that you've seen what you need to change, you see where your program or what you're offering is already strong. Now we make something to step forward and grow from there. A big trigger for me when we're doing this, or something I like to see, is making sure that you're addressing your employees and what they need. So of course, drivers, the slips on ice is huge. Balance is a big part of this, and stability. Now that's something that you can play, you can put games into place. You can make challenges that are based on having people do things as simple as, can you balance on 1 foot, or, make the challenge something where you bring in the Karate Kid movie and say, can you do the crane on a pole down at Grand Beach, take a photo of it and show it to us. But things that you can see the end game play right back into what you need for your workplace. Those are critical when you're creating. Once it's created, once you're ready, implement it. And I can't overstate enough how critical it is to get some of your staff involved in the implementation. Involve the office staff, involve some drivers, involve people that are they're in the company that love to do more than asked. Get them involved, get them showing people what they need to do to implement this program, and get those people that are naturally, I don't want to say bossy, but I think we all know who we're talking about. You want to get those people naturally involved in promoting this program, its success, and its value. And then last, keep it growing. As soon as you get stale and stagnant, people forget that the program's there and they start going back to the old habits that got them into the place where balance wasn't an issue and they're falling. They're eating poorly, so in the afternoon they're falling asleep behind the wheel, or they're not as productive. Those are the kind of things that I know as an industry need to be addressed, and you can do that by walking through these phases, implementing a good wellness program, consulting experts, making sure you have the right people around to put together a program that helps your staff specifically. So the assessment, obviously, every HR person is overworked, overwhelmed, and me saying you got one more task to do doesn't sound exciting. But watching as this pays off in the long run, identifying all the jobs in the building. This is something where, again, if you're looking to do this and do it on a larger scale, if this is kind of, you tuned in to Milt and I for the first steps, I always suggest engaging a workplace ergonomics specialist, going to the physiotherapists. If you work with one already, most physios know how to do this, and that is they look at the jobs that are being done regularly in your building, and they can tell you what your staff needs to do to safely and physically be strong enough to complete those tasks. Now, I've had I don't know the benefit, I don't know what the right word is, but I've had that experience of tying down a load, ratcheting it down, and the shoulder and elbow strain that goes into that. If you're doing that on a regular basis, if you're driving 6, 7, 8 hours, jumping out, unloading, reloading, and sleeping, going again, that very quickly becomes a situation where you're asking for an injury. Those are the kind of things, once you've identified, now we can start engaging drivers to do things in their life to make that a little less risky, to make it safe in the long term. So identifying those jobs with a professional, then getting to know your staff. This starts to open the conversation on communication. Now, Milt and I, before this whole thing went into the pandemic, we got to actually shake hands with people. And this, to me right now, this is the hardest thing to do, is to be just speaking to a camera and hoping that somebody on the other end is like, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I hear you. You cannot succeed in health. You cannot succeed in getting people well without looking them in the eyes, telling them you're there for them, and challenging them. That is something that I love technology, but nothing on this planet, especially if somebody's lost and confused, beats shaking their hand, looking them in their eyes, and getting to know them. And that's something where Milt and I are that's what we excel at. We love one-on-one, telling somebody they're cared for, telling somebody we got them, telling them they can do the challenge ahead of them, and we coach them through it. That's our passion. So we're trying to bring that into an online forum. But as an HR person, you've got that relationship already. So this is something where finding ways to get to know your staff, to get to know who's kind of communicating with who, and using those connections to promote wellness is critical, because if it's not person to person, it's very hard to make these lifelong changes. And of course, looking at what's working, the current program analysis, feel free at any time. If you've got a wellness program that isn't working, or if you've got things that just are being done for no apparent reason, cut them and bring something new in. Take work off your plate anytime you can. That's a thing about looking at the assessment part. Identified, continuing from that assessment phase, knowing what's working, identifying those things that people like to do. And I'm always shocked at gardening and walking groups and how big those are. If you've never tried them, just from a stress relief and an engagement point, those are things that not only get your drivers involved or your staff, but that's something that people can bring their family into. And anytime you include the family unit in wellness, you get much better uptake. So again, finding the staff and coworkers that lead naturally, those people are critical. Again, that's how you make that connection. That's how you make the bonds that encourage people to better their health. Incentives. Now, this is a talking point where right now I'm happy to see that there's almost 20 people in the room here. So speaking to incentives, if you've got a wellness program, right now there is a lot of Manitoba businesses that are hurting. If you are able to go and buy a $25 gift card from a restaurant, if you are able to go find a small business and give them some cash for a gift certificate to make a challenge and make that the goal is, hey, you're going to win a $25 gift certificate and you're going to get butter chicken at East India Company, because if you want me to perform on any level, butter chicken at East India Company will get me moving. But finding those things that inspire people that you can incentivize with, and it's as simple as, you know, setting some targets where you know that if somebody hits these goals, if they're walking and hitting their steps, if they're eating healthy, if they're getting sleep, if you've got that program in place, that person performs better. And offering them at the end of each month an hour or two where they can go home early, or they can do something where they get back from the company, that goes a long way if that works into your company mandate. I've seen those kind of incentives blow up and make programs run so well. As soon as you give back to your employees, they love you for it. Creating it, again, I'm not going to harp on the creation part too much. This is something where if you are doing this by yourself, feel free to reach out to myself. Milt's also a great resource for the motivation side of it. We don't mind people asking us questions. If you have been tasked with the creation of a wellness program, I'll tell you right now, it's easy, but it's time consuming and you got to pick away at it. So you build it, you measure it, you know your goals and you hit them. Setting the goals is the tough part. And again, asking experts, involving physiotherapists, involving registered dietitians, get the real experts' opinions on what you need to be promoting and doing. That's how you create a good program. Make the committees, make sure that all of your areas of your business are represented, and then step forward with finding out what they want, what they need to be healthy, and then finding ways to give it to them. It goes a long way to engage with people. Implementation always starts small. Here's something that I see on a regular basis is the target of a workplace wellness program gets put on the desk of somebody and they jump right into purchasing a brand new program, getting all this stuff in. And what they forget to do before you start any program, before you implement this, connect with your staff. Have those small support teams in place and ready. Know a few excellent speakers. Go into the neighborhood where your business is or where most of your people live. Find some physios, find the registered dietitians, and again, make the team and then bring some of the programming into place. If you start with the programming, the problem is we get people hyped up and excited. But if we don't back that up with experts, motivation, and a reason to keep going, we really lose people quick. And that is, to me, the most heartbreaking thing is if you get somebody inspired to take care of their health and then you pull the carpet out from under them without having the resources, it's hard to get them the second and third time to change their lifestyles. Lastly, growing something, celebrate successes. This is something where anytime I see a company that puts a program into place and they see walking teams grow and they celebrate those walking teams, they put photos on the wall, they do that kind of stuff. It is amazing how quickly, if the management and the team, the management team are there behind this in promoting it and saying, oh, look at how great this is. We had a potluck and here's all the healthy food that showed up. We had a walking team, we had if you promote it and you celebrate those successes, your staff will get on board, they'll try new things, they'll get involved, and you watch it grow with excitement. And that, to me, if I can be a part of that, that is actually my most favorite thing, is to see people get excited about small things. So instead of excited about, late night on the TV, unless it's the Jets, we can stay excited for that, or the Bombers. 'Tis the season for the Jets, though. Seeing people excited, that to me is the reason that I do what I do, is to see somebody excited that their health means something to them. Getting them excited about the science of their body, how it works, and if they take care of themselves, how their cells rejuvenate, and how, anyway, I could go on for days in a different direction on that. The human body and how great it is an excitement to me, and seeing people get excited to take care of it, perfect. From there, once you're growing it, when you try new things, if you have buy-in on a simple level, when you bring in new and things designed to take people to the next level, when you start doing that, those new things, that buy-in is right there immediately, and all of a sudden you grow it. And this is the best part about a growing corporate culture, is when your new hires walk in the door and they get excited to see all of these people enjoying health and happiness, it's contagious. Positive and negative is both contagious. So when we work towards this constantly growing positive environment, it helps on the hiring. Recognition, obviously, covered that. So that's it from me. There's no good single fix in the marketplace that I've seen. Like, people ask, can I buy one large program, like a, you need to consider who you are, what you're trying to accomplish. There's outstanding tools, but there's no one fit program where somebody can just say, hey, I bought this, we're implementing it, and I'm gone. You need to be involved with the humans in your workplace, and you need to be encouraging them. And from there, that's how you kind of build this into something that has a life of its own and has success. Anyway, that's it for me. If there's questions, I'm more than happy to hear them. And then if there's nobody has any questions, we can toss it right to Mr. Motivation himself.
Yeah, people can put their questions in the chat box, and we can come to them. And if it's not now and it's a little bit later, then we can just do that later. So you're up there.
All righty. Okay, first of all, how's everyone doing? I know it's a rhetorical question because you can answer that, but this is an honor and a pleasure for those who don't know me. My name is Milt Stegall. I played 17 years of professional football, 3 years in the NFL with the Bengals, and of course, 14 years in the great city of Winnipeg with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I've been retired since 2009. I've been working on the CFL on TSN panel. But throughout my playing career, and even now, I've been what they call, I guess, a workout warrior. The reason why I was able to play so long was because of my extreme workouts and, healthy eating habits and just a healthy lifestyle. I'm pretty much to the extreme. And one of the things that Jordan said that really caught my attention was changing lives. And that's what I'm all about, changing lives. When individuals ask me, why do you want to help individuals get healthy? It's all about changing lives. And I know that the topic is motivating, but motivation, in my opinion, is something that comes and goes. You have to be driven to achieve something. And I think when you're driven, that's where that consistency and discipline come into play. Because to be successful or to achieve something, you have to be consistent and disciplined and driven. And just like all you guys out there, you go to work every morning, not because you're motivated, because you're driven. And I think that's the case with most folks. You're driven because you have bills to pay, you have people to support, you like the lifestyle you have. That's being driven. And to achieve something, you have to be driven. When I was playing, and even now and everything in life, I never write goals down. When I played, I never said I wanted to achieve this amount of touchdowns, this many receptions, this many reception yards, all-star, this or that. My only goal, or whatever you may call it, was to be better than I was the day before. Be better as a person, be better as an athlete, be better as a father, as a husband, whatever it may be, than I was the day before. If I read 10 books last year, I want to read more than 10 books this year. If I did 50 sprints Yesterday, I want to do more than 50 sprints, not 51 sprints, not 52 sprints, just more than what I did the day before. And that's what being driven is all about. Because when in life, the most important muscle you have is your brain. I know it's not a muscle per se, but it's the most important muscle. But too many times as individuals, we don't exercise. When I mean exercise it, you have to challenge it. If you're comfortable, you're not challenging yourself. You're not growing. You have to get out of that comfort zone. You have to grow. But what happens is a lot of times that fear creeps into us. And fear is an acronym for false experiences, false evidence appearing real. That's what a fear is an acronym for. And that's when you have to exercise your brain and say, okay, this fear, I can overcome it. And when you overcome it once, what happens to you? That confidence builds up. Now you say, okay, I know how to overcome this fear because mentally I can do it. When you talk about working out or when you talk about getting healthy, the first thing, the most important step is to start. People always ask me, okay, Milt, you know, I know you're not per se a personal trainer, but I would love to work out with you, but I'm scared. That's that fear. The first step is just getting out there. You may not be able to do what I'm able to do, and most folks can't, not bragging, but most folks can't do what I do. But the most important step is to getting out there. Because once you get out there, you're gonna do something. Even if you're walking, you're gonna do something, but you have to make that first step. It's like anything in life. When you're scared, the most important thing is doing it. When I went to college, I was scared to death because I wasn't the smartest individual, and I was able to pretty much skate by in high school. You know, it wasn't too challenging. When I got to college, I knew I was going to have to do a lot. I was scared to death, but I knew as long as I was consistent and I was disciplined, I could get through anything. And once I started getting good grades and that confidence started building up, I was untouchable. I knew it would take a lot. There were some evenings where I was up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, but I knew I was able to do it because of confidence, consistency, and discipline. I was able to do it. Something else I always preach to people is, if you're trying to achieve something, you have to surround yourself with people who are trying to achieve the same things you're trying to do. There was a saying by this disc jockey, and I know I'm aging myself when I say disc jockey, when I was growing up, and every time he left the air, he would say something: if you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. If the people around you aren't trying to do the same things you're trying to do, you got to get some different people around you. So say you're trying to start working out, and you have, you know, some friends, you say, guys, let's start working out. He was like, no, that's okay. All of a sudden you say, well, my friends don't want to work out. I don't want to work out. So every now and then you just have to get some different individuals who are trying to achieve the same things you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to be great, you got to get some great people around you who are trying to do that. If you want to get good grades, you got to get some people around you who are getting good grades. You have to put people around you who are trying to do the same things you're trying to do. If you do that, you have a great chance of being successful. And for me personally, actually, I lost some friends when I was in college because they weren't trying to do the same things I was trying to do. I was trying to be a great athlete. I was trying to be a great student, where these individuals were enjoying college too much. So I had to change the people around you. The people you have around you, majority of the time, you will tell the people outside of what type of person you're trying to be. If you're around people who aren't good people, you're going to not be a good person. If you're around people who are trying to do great things, who are great people, who are working, who are honest, who are legitimate, that's what type of person you're trying to be. That's what type of person you're trying to be. So that's what I want to say to you. The most important thing is you got to surround yourself with great people. Jordan, we always talk about exercising, and we don't care what type of exercising you do. We don't care what you do, but you have to do something. In my opinion, you have to do something. And even more important than exercising, you have to eat healthy and you have to get plenty of rest. It's not easy. I know it's not easy, especially when you create certain habits. It's hard to get out of those habits. You start saying, well, this is the way I've been living and I'm doing okay. But as you get older, as those ailments start kicking in, you have to take care of yourself. And I know it's easy on the outside looking in for someone like myself who's been doing it so long. But as I alluded to it earlier, you have to take that chance. I have a lot of individuals who I played football with, who I didn't play football with, who aren't doing so well right now because of their lifestyle. And your lifestyle a lot of times determine how healthy or not healthy you are. So you gotta make that first step. You have to go on that limb and say, okay, I'm gonna do whatever it takes just to start. Just start off doing something. And as I said before, if you're driven, when you drive yourself, you'll say, okay, The next day, I'm just going to do a little bit more. So if you said, I'm just going to take 2 steps, and tomorrow, just take more. Don't say I'm going to take 3 or 4 steps, just take more. And then the next day, just keep improving, just keep improving and improving and improving. And that's when you're driven. That's when you start seeing changes in your life. And that's when your life in all aspects start getting better, just not physically, but mentally, spiritually, whatever it may be. Every single aspect in your life will make a change because you're exercising that brain. You have to exercise that brain every single day. Mentally, it's not easy. It's not easy to work your brain. Sometimes you want to give out. Sometimes you want to say, I'm done. But when you're strong mentally, you're able to get up every morning and say, I can do this. Like I alluded to earlier, you get up every morning and go to work because you know you need to have that paycheck. It is what it is. Let's be honest, you need it. You're driven to be a better person. And when you get healthy, or when you want to get healthy, when you drive yourself, you're able to accomplish anything. So as I alluded to, the most important thing is surround yourself with great people and be willing to take that first step. And understand sometimes that first step, it may be difficult. Sometimes that first step, you may think you're stepping in the mud, but you may be stepping into quicksand. But understand, you can get it done. Adversity is part of life, but those who are able to overcome that adversity, those who are able to lift themselves up and say, okay, I can take that second step, are the ones that can be successful. So it's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you very much. My goal is always just to be able to touch one person. If I can touch one person, of course, I would love to touch and affect and have an impact on everyone. But if I can touch one person, I can say I've done my job. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to one day getting back up there and talking to you guys in person, getting the workout together in person, because I'm really excited about what Jordan has initiated. And I'm just glad and happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions or anything that they would like to bring up or anything? Jordan, do you have any other words you'd like to go in?
No,
You're good?
that was all I was gonna say is we bring Milt in to get people fired up to, like I say, it's the simple things. And it's those simple things that implemented in a business, starting on one thing, the next thing you know, over time, keeping people motivated, you can achieve quite a bit. So that's what we like to do.
Milt, there's a question here for you. How do you stay driven after you've accomplished so much?
Well, the most important thing is to stay level-headed. Regardless, if I fail or I succeed, I always say, okay, it's on to the next. Like in football, you know, if I catch a touchdown or I drop a touchdown, which I never did, just make. But if I catch a touchdown regardless, it's on to the next play. That play is forgotten. The same way in life. If I accomplish a bunch, I always say, okay, what else can I do? Like I alluded to, what can I do next day? I'm gonna do more the next day than what I did the previous day. So you can never rest on your laurels. You can never say, okay, never say,
your audio's just kind of cut you off there at the end.
You know?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, it's always, you always have to say, okay, regardless of what happened, it's the next play, it's the next day, and it's time to move on. I equate everything to football, so sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I mean, you played for us. I mean, we have to support that. Jordan, do you have any suggestions for engaging people in wellness programs who work outside of the office or who work remotely?
Yeah, so this has been actually, funny enough, it used to be a small challenge. Now it's the only challenge. And what we've found has been successful is actually creating meeting times for people. So if you've got a few employees that are outside of the office, working from home, etc., getting them together to check in, doing the FaceTime thing, or doing something as simple as getting them to put together a messenger group or whatever. The key is to make them feel like they're still part of the team. And I know that that's kind of the challenge right now in HR. But making it something where the basics of what they're still part of the team, and at that basic point, they can still be engaged. And that's kind of I don't know if I completely answered that question, but outside the office, it is tough, but making sure that they feel part of the team. As soon as you make somebody feel part of the team, another football analogy, then they feel like they owe something to the people around them. And that's kind of how we like to do things.
Thank you. That's answered the question. Is there anything else? Otherwise, we will say thank you. We appreciate everything. And I mean, I think, Jordan, a lot of what you said goes into the same thing of a safety program, right? Implementing creativity, engagement, it all goes, to wellness program, safety program, it's all kind of together to keep our workers safe and healthy, which is at the end of the day, we just want everyone to come home, right? So yeah.
And I'll reiterate, we're here to answer questions anytime anyone wants.
Oh, Milt, they just would like to know if you have any success stories that you would let us know about.
Success stories.
Of getting people engaged in their health.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt, there were, and my big thing is I like to run. I lift, so I won't lose weight because I like to keep some weight on. But my thing is running, and there were some young ladies who saw me running at the track, and they were a little overweight. And they were a little intimidated. And I saw them; they were watching me. And I was like, "Well, ladies, and I was joking. I was like, you guys can join in anytime." And they were like, "We can't do what you're doing." I was like, "Well, you don't have to do what I'm doing, but you just need to join in and I can help you out." So these two young ladies, they worked out with me maybe 6 months, and it was a struggle for them at the beginning, but they both end up losing. I think they lost a total of maybe 50 pounds combined, and they're still pretty much working out and eating healthy and pretty healthy to this day. So I mean, that's the thing I love to see. When people always ask me, how much do you charge? I say, I don't charge anything. I just want to see you get healthy. That's my main thing. So I love seeing that. It brings such joy when I see individuals who I know it's going to be difficult, but they finish it out and they continue working out. And, that just puts a stamp on everything that I'm trying to achieve in life as far as allowing people to get healthy.
There's one more thing here, Milt, but I don't know if I should share it with you. It says, "Love you, Milt, but go Riders!" ! Not my words, somebody else's.
Who are the Riders? I don't know. What is a rider?
But anything else from anyone? Otherwise, we'll wrap up. I think that was great. And we really appreciate you guys helping us out and motivating us, because in times right now, we really, really need the motivation, I think, especially here in Manitoba. We've seen better days, and hopefully there's more to come. And I think motivation definitely will help all of us. I know it helped me. So.
Well, like I say, we are definitely here to help anybody that reaches out. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I'm sure maybe we'll be in touch again in the future.
Love it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.